Like, I started a gambling company, which I didn't want to run a gambling company. Like, I wanted to work for myself, so that was never going to work because I didn't have like passion to run a gambling company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I suppose it could work if like some people, entrepreneurs that own loads of different businesses, then they obviously want to be an entrepreneur. They might not be. I suppose they are still like invested in their businesses because it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? But yeah, I think anyway. I'm talking shit. So yeah, I've done like a few different things. I was going to start a pub. I was working in finance for a recruitment company. All these things that I'm glad I did that though, the finance one, because I wanted to see what it was like working in the city and experience that. So yeah, tick that off. But then COVID hit and we started working from home. So I was just a bit isolated. And when you're isolated, then you're not around like the social side of things.
Especially after so soon after leaving the military, you're isolated anyway. You used to be in that support network, and now you've not got it.
Yeah, now you're just on your own.
Working from home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, I mean, then you really realise that you're just doing a job that you don't really like when you're just on your own with just the job. I think a lot of people realise that in lockdown. But yeah, man, that's when I started writing sitcoms as a hobby. After that gambling company folded, I was a bit like, I'd hit a bit of a fucking low spell. Well, I'd say there was a couple of low spells. There was like COVID sort of sorted me out because I was going a bit too hard in the city with the old fucking drinking drugs and that.
Yeah.
And then, so that was a low point. And then sorted myself out in COVID, done the gambling company, that flopped. And then that was sort of like I hadn't really addressed the other problems. So that was still underlying. And then that got compounded with like the failure of that business. And I was like, just a fucking loser, man. And then started writing sitcoms. And then, that was a hobby. Started stand-up as another hobby. And then, straight away I got the bug for stand-up, mate. Because the aim out of that sitcom thing was I wanted to make my own sitcom about the army.
Is that still ongoing, or?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, like, no one's going to just commission a sitcom if you're a nobody. So, like, I was like, I have to make it myself. But I didn't have any performing experience. That's why I started stand-up, because I had a load of jokes that weren't like suitable for the script. So I was like, I'll give them a go. And then, into stand-up, and then did the online stuff. And then now I'm like going into production of slightly longer stuff, like slightly longer sketches, with the intention of coming around full circle and then making that sitcom later down the line. But no rush.
No, you got a podcast coming up though, haven't you?
Yeah, we got a little sketch writing podcast coming up.
Yeah, man. Well, how long? When's that going to be kind of hitting the socials?
I've ordered the sign.
Right.
Yeah.
You showed me the sign earlier.
Yeah, the sign. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that sign. Little neon sign. So I think I reckon that'll be here in a couple of weeks. I'm hoping we can get it rolling in a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then if we can keep that going, maybe an episode a week, just write a different sketch. And then what we're going to do is you can see the sketch written on the podcast, and then we're going to like get it professionally made, so then you can like see it be written and see the finished product. So I think that's a pretty cool idea. We've done the first sketch,
right,
but it's before we had the studio, so we're not releasing that podcast episode.
I seen the one you did. It was like the zombie one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the first one. Yeah,
brilliant. Really good.
I was well happy with that.
Yeah,
cheers.
Really, really good.
Yeah, I'm glad that came out. We learned a lot on that though, because there's a lot of sound issues with like different locations and stuff like that, and yeah, we learned quite a bit, but I think it came out quite well considering we had a couple of stays. I took the piss on the editing on that as well. I felt pretty bad because I was paying the geezer per sketch,
right?
And I kept going back and being like, "No, we've got to change this a little bit. We've got to cut out 1 second here. Like, when are you free? I'll come around."
But if you want to do it, you want to make it right. It's your passion. It's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's it.
Of course, you got to get it right.